Welcome to the Veganette and Kids. Today I am making cheesy baked Brussels sprouts. Okay, so first I'm starting off with cleaned Brussels sprouts. I have simply rinsed them well in a strainer. And after cleaning, I simply cut the stem of the Brussels sprout and I slice them straight down the center. Now I'm only using a small enough batch that will fit snugly into a small baking dish. My children are not too fond of Brussels sprouts, so this is going to be a meal that is going to serve me for both lunch and dinner. Now, once I'm finished getting all of my Brussels sprouts nice and sliced down the center, I'm going to take them and simply pour them into a mixing bowl. I'm only going to be using a few ingredients, which will be avocado oil, Himalayan pink salt, black pepper, and paprika. Now for each of those ingredients, I did use about 1 teaspoon equally. If I changed anything for when I make this recipe again, I would just use less salt. So maybe half of a teaspoon instead of 1 full teaspoon. But other than that, it was great. I just am someone who does not like a lot of salt. So that's the only thing I would use less of. So I'm just going to give this a toss just for a few seconds to infuse all of the ingredients. And I'm going to move over to my plant-based bacon. So for my plant-based bacon, I am using a brand called Light Life, and it's Smart Bacon. This is one of my go-to brands of bacon when I do want a vegan bacon. I like it because it is low in calories and carbs. Now this bacon, it typically is very fragile. I notice no matter how many times I buy it, it just breaks very easily. So I typically use it and crumble it up into like bacon bits. So as you can see here, it just breaks. So I'm taking my cooking shears and I'm just going to cut it directly over the pan, and I'm going to fry it up for about 3 to 5 minutes. So when I'm done with the bacon, I'm going to set it aside, and I'm moving over to a little sauce that I'm making to help my meal come out a little cheesier. So I'm using some tapioca flour and some unsweetened almond milk. So all I've used is about 1 tablespoon of the tapioca flour, and I'm adding the unsweetened almond milk just by eye, and I'm going to give this a nice whisk until the tapioca flour is nice and well dissolved. So now I am moving over to a hot pan, and I'm going to begin adding some vegan butter. This is a plant-based butter by Earth Balance. It's soy-free, and it's one of my favorite brands to use. I did forget to show the container, but when I don't use Earth Balance, I also enjoy the Country Crock plant-based butter as well. So now all I'm doing is adding in a little bit of garlic, and I'm just going to give this a toss for a few seconds before I go in and add all of my other ingredients. So now I am simply just pouring that Brussels sprout mixture right into the pan. And I'm going to give this a quick toss. And then I'm going to go in with those plant-based bacon bits that I made, and I'm going to add them directly to the pan with the Brussels sprouts. So now I'm just going to give it all a toss once again just to combine everything, and I'm going to put a lid on for about 5 minutes to soften up those Brussels sprouts a bit. So after about 5 minutes, I'm just giving it a toss one more time, and then I'm going to go in with the tapioca flour mixture that I made, and I'm going to pour it directly in the pan with the Brussels sprouts and the plant-based bacon. Now it was coming out a little too thick for me, so I did add a little bit of water. If you prefer your center a little bit more thick and cheesy, you can leave it as is, but I wanted mine to have more of a natural creaminess. I didn't want it to be too thick because I will be using vegan cheese as well. The vegan cheese that I'm going to be using is the Daiya brand. This is cheddar style shreds. And I also have cheddar and matzo. I used 2 because I was running low on the cheddar and matzo. So now I am just adding the Brussels sprouts to a baking dish, and this is really going to be kind of like a lasagna. I'm just adding the Brussels sprouts. I'm going to go in and add the vegan cheese, and then I'm going to go back in and add the Brussels sprouts again. So it's Brussels sprouts, cheese, Brussels sprouts, cheese. And I was really just happy with how this came out. That tapioca really helps the cheese dissolve a little bit, and I just love the stretchiness that it provides. So I'm going to top it with cheese for the very last time, and I'm going to put this in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. So it's been about 20 minutes and this is complete. I was really happy with this meal, so I wanted to share. It came out super yummy. The only thing I would change, as I mentioned prior, is using a little less salt. But it was really good, so if you are into cheesy, I think you will love this recipe. And give it a try. Let me know your thoughts. I love to hear your feedback and opinions. I did top it with a little bit of hemp seed, and I served it with avocado. Thank you all so much for watching. I will be back soon with more vegan breakfast, lunch, and dinner ideas.